Well, all the things that these people have said along the way. Let's sit back and listen.
Do what we do, and hopefully we'll have success.
Rader stresses the importance of the public not being involved in the search and not disclosing exact locations of search crews, not only because of safety due to the terrain, but also because it could hinder the investigation.
We can't have people stating that we were on this road at this specific spot, because then at that point in time, when we mark it off that nothing's there, it's a possibility somebody could move her or evidence to that area, and it's already been marked off as search, so we don't go back to it.
That sentiment, something echoed by the agents with the TBI leading the investigation.
There could be a criminal aspect and something happened to her. And in order for us to work that investigation, there are just some things that we're not able to share with the public.
Do what?
Who is it?
This is Benny.
Oh. Sitting here.
Yeah. Hey, man, can you give me some insight on why Jody Sue was saying that your daughter said that you told her you saw Summer's body. Can you make any sense out of that?
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Like, why would she say that? It's so fucking, it's like, she says it, but then, like, everyone forgets that she says it, I guess. Like, but did she involve your daughter in telling that lie?
I mean, I don't know. I don't. Oh, goddamn. When are y'all going to stop on this?
Who?
I mean, why no do this? This is a new goddamn year, and I'm sick and fucking tired of this shit.
Then you shouldn't have answered the fucking phone, bud.
Why the fuck you calling my goddamn?
Amy Lou, you sent pictures to my email. Let me check it.
All right. Well, that's good. Y'all look over and ask why exactly it is he was selling drugs to the children at 1:10. Why he was potentially causing little girls over there to be sedated and to be touched with the shit he was selling over there. Go ask. Because I have fucking questions. Not standing in front of him anymore.
I had her crying in tears. I mean, just like in a ball, because for like fucking 5 minutes, she wouldn't lay off. And it was Summer's dead body's laying there, and who gives a fuck about it? And this and blah, blah, and she's dead. I mean, right, just a gross.
Within 3 years, he can say she's dead. No remorse, no nothing. I mean, just.
You saw him, so you saw him
here.
after they called 911, you went there?
Yeah, for nerves.
And what was he doing? Was he high or drunk?
It didn't act like it was nothing, you know?
And what did he tell you?
They just talked about the leads and then.
Look, even I wouldn't go over there and hang out. My kids did not go over there.
To that, because Don told me on the phone that he's in this, and I could be completely wrong about you or any other situation, and I'm not saying that this is true or not, but Don told me that Don used to come over to your house. He brought Summer there several times. He's actually gotten drugs from Voldemort or Andy, whatever, over while you were home, whatever he wanted, meth, cocaine, marijuana, pills. They were able to get everything from your driveway. And that he's brought Summer over there before. I thought that's why there would be possibly footprints anywhere, if any. But I'm not saying that they were over there for that reason either.
I'm gonna show my face. I'm gonna make this real clear. Those two are not the most reliable sources. I will tell you that Andy smokes. I know that Andy was using that same period of poop and told him to start real bad behaviors again. I now think for the past couple of years, because of things that were taking place in the last days, and hint drops that I look back on, and I think maybe he was using other things for a couple of years. Andy did have far more contact with them than I did. They were not my type of people. They still are not. However, I will tell you, to my knowledge, not once did they ever get coke, pills, or meth off of him. You know, not once that I'm aware of. And I mean that sincerely.
Choice. Heroin,
Alcohol, and I
meth,
always assumed because of how she acted that it would be downers, right? And so it's like whatever he said about pills or something like that. Andy's thing of choice, like if you give that boy any type of dinner, he's gonna lose his mind and kill somebody. So there's no way. You get what I'm saying? The correlate, you know. And I'll tell you, Don has since day one, minute one, that Summer went missing, has continually tried to sling that at neighbors and then drug traffic that wasn't his own, co-workers, one after the next, after the next, after the next, continually. But he never mentions his own drug dealers, his out-of-town dealings, the pedophiles they've had up on that, pedos, peas, whatever, the essays.
Call them what.
Amy Lou, you sent pictures to my email. Let me check it. All right. Well, that's good. Y'all look over there and ask why exactly it is he was selling drugs to the children at 110. Why he was potentially causing little girls over there to be sedated and to be touched with the shit he was selling over there. Go ask. Because I have fucking questions. I'm not standing in front of him anymore.
Your passion, because it seems like you know, and you know.
Those kids come here in the summer before Summer died. Those kids come here in the summer before Summer died. Those kids come here in the summer before Summer died.
Look you in the face and be like, Summer's dead, no will. What the hell is that?
I looked in there, I seen 13 messages between her and her drug, I'm going to say drug dealer because he is Andy.
And it's not Randy, it's Andy.
But yeah, all I seen was the first message before she started walking up to the mailbox to get up here is that it was done, and I was going to read the next message of what she said.
And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and
How come you don't want people to know she was up at Chris Marco's in Wisconsin? How come you don't want people to know she was up at Chris Marco's in Wisconsin? You don't want to talk about it. Did you know Candace was in fucking Wisconsin when Don was in Utah? You failed to throw that out there, didn't you? How come? How come you don't want people to know she was up at Chris Marco's in Wisconsin? You don't want.
Sorry, what was that?
Did you call 911?
On what? Today? You think I'm gonna waste your time with
June
you?
15th. When someone went missing, did you call 911?
I'm not giving you.
How come you don't want people to know she was up at Chris Marco's in Wisconsin? You don't want to talk about it. Did you know Candace was in fucking Wisconsin when Don was in Utah? You failed to throw that out there, didn't you? How come? How come you don't want people to know she was up at
Dawn giving Andy money the day Summer went missing. Jody sues Andy?
Yeah.
He gave Andy money that time.
That's when I was standing there talking to Andy, and the law stuff is still there. And he did reach Andy some money and stuff then.
Jody sues Andy?
Yeah.
He gave Andy money that day.
Yeah.
Do you know how much?
He said, here's that money I owe you. Like that.
Oh, do you know how much it is?
I didn't know.
I just sent money.
That is very interesting. Oh, yeah, and that's how somebody would cover it up too. They would be like, "Oh, here's that money I owe you." You know, I made you not. See, that makes me think that he paid them or
I just
something.
figured it was for drugs or something. I figured.
No.
Nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
I even asked Don straight up. I said, Don, you know, you want me to help you and stuff. You're not acting like you're worried or concerned at all, but you're wanting help. But I said, was there an accident or something? Oh, if Candace, something like that happened, she'd call the law. I said, she ain't gonna call the law. I said, just like, why did you call 911? Why did she call you for you to call 911? Oh, she don't like to talk to police. I said, it didn't hurt her to call on you.
Hey,
That Subaru come about, and I was like, because I didn't even know that Subaru until about a week before Summer went missing. He shows up here on Coke that night with the one that I was telling you about last night, Haskell Rhines, with a dog that belonged to him in the vehicle, and ends up leaving letting the dog out here. I mean, it was just, it makes sense.
Nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
You know, and it's got to be a predator. Only a predator would come up here and take our daughter. There's just not going to be somebody like, oh, I love you, Summer, and I just want to save you from a bad situation. 90% of the time when someone...
Hold on a second. Did you hear what he said? It ain't going to be somebody that just comes up and says, I love you, Summer. I want to save you from a bad situation. Well, what's the bad situation, Don? What is the bad situation? Are you saying that yourself and your house is a bad situation? In a minute, you make me sick. You make me sick, Don. And I just now started looking at this. Because when I read over it, when I actually went over it, and then I heard about, well, how could you talk about beating a child? And that makes no sense to me. No sense to me at all. Watch this, guys. I would love to get a chance to interview Jose or whoever, even Candace. I want to interview Candace.
It takes a little girl or whatever, a boy even, is for 90% of the time is because they're predators. So it's just not good. Somebody has hurt her, probably sexually, maybe beat the fuck out of her, probably killed her.
Look at that. Look at that. Somebody has hurt her. He did not say, you know, oh, damn. He said somebody has. Past tense is in has. Anybody hear that? Did you hear that? He says somebody has hurt her.
I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't got none. She's going down. Candace ain't got none. She's going down. I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't got none. She's going down. Candace ain't got none. She's going down.
My heart. I'd do anything to have her back. If there's any way you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow. I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go and where we can get her back. And just please have mercy on her and, you know, and us and her brothers. She's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. But my biggest fear is, you know, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her downfall. 'Cause a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know, go get Summer now. You know, and that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. And
She loved to be outside.
You know, and I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, you know, I'm locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything, love nature, you know, and it's that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, you know, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility.
Need you to know they might be pushy and painful at times, so just take it for what they are. When was the last time you saw Summer?
That morning when I woke up, because she was sleeping in between me and her mother.
Okay. Did she wake
up? I was kind of laying on her foot a little bit and stuff, and I was like, my back, you know.
Did she wake up?
Did she wake up? No.
Okay.
No.
I was wondering what she said to you last thing she said. What are the last words she ever said to you? You remember?
I'm not sure if it was that night or not, but I remember, you know, clearly, I was like, Summer, you got to sleep in your own bed. And she come back with big old crocodile tears in her eyes, and she said, but Daddy, I want to be with you.
I know. But they can't sleep with you forever, you know.
Huh?
They can't sleep with you forever.
No.
Grow up so
And that's how kids grow up, is by you doing that. So you didn't do anything wrong.
No.
And we want you to know that.
Well, it's interesting. The other day, you know, all this stuff going on, when it was so bad, everything on YouTube was so bad, I was begging God. I was like, Lord, and I was on my knees. I was just at the end of my ropes, and you got the drug thing going on, and where we live at, you got certain groups of people, and I'm not going to mention them by name, but you got these boys, like those boys, they're all related, and they think that they run everything. And a lot of people for years have run moonshine out there, probably manufactured meth and other stuff like that, and they think that they are the Bloods and the Crips of the hillbillies.
Yeah, we have, where I live, there's something very similar called the cornbread mafia.
Yeah, that runs from here to through Georgia.
Georgia.
Cornbread mafia.
And they take that name and that title very seriously.
So
the Department of Child Protective Services confirmed today they are involved in the investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells. They would not elaborate, though, on how they were involved. The Department of Child Protective Services confirmed today they are involved in the investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells. They would not elaborate, though, on how they were involved. The Department of Child Protective Services confirmed today they are involved in the investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells. They would not elaborate, though, on how they were involved.
Really?
Hey, I've seen him actually in the swimming pool and stuff over there at Dawn and Candace's with Summer at one time. Like that, before she went missing, you know, the swimming pool that used to be there, that wasn't there when she supposedly went missing, but it was there like a couple weeks before. A big swimming pool.
Right. Where did that go?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That's what somebody else said.
Where's it at? That where at Red Barrel said, they show at Red Barrel and stuff. That swimming pool said right there.
Was it there?
There's a 4-foot pool.
Was it there the day Summer went missing?
No. They were gone the day she was missing. That's what I didn't know. It didn't make sense to me. Why is that swimming pool gone all of a sudden?
I know, right?
Been up here.
Right in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
You know, right when it's
when
hot.
summer's really getting ready to start, you know.
Right, that's true. It was at the beginning of summer, you're right.
And they done been in it a few times because
that is something that, guys, that was mentioned. It's interesting that Fred brings it up because it's something I've only heard like one time before, is that swimming pool that was set up. There was a swimming pool set up over at Dawn and Candace's that wasn't there the day Summer went missing, but was up. I think it was even up the day before, because remember that slip and slide thing that was up, and there was that little girl was there.
Son Andrew was in it with her one evening. I stopped down there because I got an old junk truck off of him, and I'd stopped down there to tell him I was going to get it, and he was in the swimming pool with her then, just him and her in the summer.
That 19-year-old or 18?
Yeah.
He fixed up
But not
vehicles.
Hunter, but Andy.
Yeah,
Andrew.
Andy Jr. or whatever he'd be. Like,
Andy's dad's name's Andrew too.
Right. It's really like George.
George Andrew. And then see, Andy's is George Andrew too.
Right. That's why it's hard to find anything on him.
And Andrew George is Andy's son.
Jody Sue says.
Too stupid to realize what they're doing. It's just helping this group try to contaminate, discredit, and contaminate jury pools and shit like that against my eldest. Right? If needed. The Abbott Monster and Stall Pump are too fucking ignorant to realize that.
Well, oh, and then my favorite part today, finding a baby's shoe in the fucking car under the floorboard. So it tells me it wasn't wrong about new kids being around fucking Baltimore either, and possibly fucking his. So there's another kid walking to be fucking abused or killed by another motherfucking abuser. But nobody's gonna give a shit until. That's my favorite goddamn word this year.
From my experience with having sisters and nieces, they're pretty set on what they do until you say horses or puppy dogs. Some even like kittens. It's usually something like that, and that's got their attention. They love them.
It's what I've never understood. They've thrown so many people into the mix that it's made law enforcement's job that much harder to put everything together. And it's funny that Grandis went to the hospital on the 4th of June. To me, it kind of seems like it was a trial run. Yeah, he is. And did you notice that picture of the new pony was on June the 4th also? Right, Alicia. Like, it was all planned, orchestrated. In Jody's words, the perfect storm. You throw all the RSOs in there, and every scumbag in that hill, and you get confusion. And why do you do that in a missing 5-year-old's case? Because they don't want her found. That's my opinion. But the one thing it's done, hopefully, is stop the drug trafficking and stop any other child from being hurt at this time. So for 2 years, they've had to worry if the FBI or TBI is looking over their shoulders. It's my opinion they have certain members of Hawkins County in their pocket. Yeah, I believe that probably what they do anytime one of those holler people get charges for something. Yeah, and every time there's a major drug bust, it comes from an outside county or an outside agency. And in the paper, you never see anything about cash. Like they found lots of drugs, no cash. And I don't understand that part. I mean, I understand it. I just don't understand how they can get away with it. They deflect and give fake stories so it can't be solved. Yeah, they should all be hung up. You would think that law enforcement could apply the RICO Act because it's definitely organized crime. It's a bunch of people working in concert to make a narrative so this child's case is not solved. But we do know it took 2 years for the people who hurt Orrin and Orson to be brought to justice. Lori Vallow, yesterday morning, was brought to justice for what she did to Tylee and JJ and Tammy. And actually Charles too, because she will never see the light of day. Yeah, probably under somebody's house in their basement or buried in their yards. I'm just hoping that law enforcement utilized satellites like they did in the Tylee and JJ case. Right, and Letitia. The chickens have come home to roost for all them. And then they still got to meet their maker one day and answer to him for all that they've done to these children. I don't think God's going to let them get away with whatever happened to Summer. Well, yeah, Alicia, they're all related. It's going to take one of them to get busted for something big where they don't want to go to prison, and they'll start singing like a canary. Because what we've learned through this whole case is there's a lot of selfish people who live in that holler. Yeah, he does. But it might take another year, it might take another 2 years, but I have faith that they will be arrested, that Summer will get justice, because too many people know what happened, in my opinion. And it just takes that one to want to get theirself out of trouble. Fred Hill had over 1% bikers. The 1%ers are the drug movers and the gun movers. Yeah, like that one biker. God, I can't think of his name right now. When JLR was in the woods, that guy talked about him. Said they went up on that hill partying one night. Bill, Wild Bill. Who names their kid Wild Bill? This case just makes me think of the show Sons of Anarchy so much. Oh yeah, it's them small towns like that you gotta watch out for. They're corrupt. They get away with a lot until they can't. Because eventually people can't keep turning their heads. The feds will have to come in and do something about it. I've thought that, Alicia, from the beginning. Especially after Ronnie's son was arrested. And they made a deal, a plea agreement, and they went to the courthouse when it was closed to seal the deal so nobody knew about it. How is that justice for the victims? Yeah, they said they didn't want to bring the victims in to testify. They could have had her testify per recording. There's always a way to do it. I think the sentence he got just re-victimized. Yep, total corruption. Good morning, Lisa. It would be nice if on Mother's Day arrests were made. No. Did you hear that he may have been arrested? That would be wonderful. Yeah, all victims have a right to testify. Because to get a suspended sentence and only have to do 1 year is absolutely ridiculous. It's a slap in the face. Please tell us, Miriam. We want to know. Should I Google it and see? That would be wonderful. Let me look. No, I don't see anything about it. It just shows where Ronnie's son got arrested. Yeah, I heard it in another chat, but I haven't wanted to spread it. Can someone check? I just Googled it. I don't see anything. I see Ronnie Lawson's son when Brandon got arrested. So it might just be somebody spreading more FUD. You know, people have to be nervous about what could be going on. Hopefully the grand jury will be meeting for summer on June the 1st. But only time will tell. No, I can't. She can't remember. She watches too many. Yeah, his own adoptive daughter. And then the whole family shunned her. And then he got a suspended sentence. It can't get no worse than that. Well, I guess it can get worse. He can get out and reoffend. And, you know, they don't want to get caught again. So then they unalive their victims like the man did with them 6 children or 5 children and his wife. But then it's too late when they reoffend, when they get out and do it again. Who answers to that? Nobody, because it's too late. They just continue to allow more victims to pile up. Around a week or so ago, I've been waiting to see it somewhere else. Yeah, it was some shit stir. That happens a lot. You wouldn't believe what my inbox looks like with the shit people send me. Like they really think you're not going to look into it. You got 20 years and it got reduced to literally 1. And not in jail, but at home. Yeah, and they did it on when the courts were closed, which I find appalling. Well, I wrote the the Attorney General in Tennessee. If we don't speak up, who's going to? If everybody would take the time to write a letter or email and send it to the Attorney General, it's hard to look away when you're getting thousands of emails and letters. Yeah, they probably were talking about Ronnie's son because it's so disgusting to everybody. Hello, Selena. Well, who owns the news channels? I mean, it's like Tim's in with Flynn there. Does his mama own it? I've never looked to see who owns their news channels up there. Oh, Amy, it's alright. I just put together some clips that bothers me. No, you did write the governor twice, Bill Lee. Yeah, send one to the Attorney General, too. I think in my community post I have this information. It's horrible what he did. They've not even told the extent of what he did to his adopted daughter. Well, the way I hear it, it was more than once, and it was more than her. I thought there was 2 victims. It's horrible because I don't believe they can be rehabilitated. And for those who somehow believe he only did that to just her, there's 100% more victims. Exactly. When there's one, there's more. They usually target little ones who can't speak up, who don't have a voice yet because they don't realize what the hell's going on. They just know it's something awful that they shouldn't be experiencing. But if you got parents who are handing you over, then they don't know no better till you get older. That's right, Marion. I know if we could just go back to some of the ways they did things in the old days, it would fix a lot of this. sick stuff that goes on nowadays. You thieve and loot a store and they cut your fingers off the first time, then your hand. Go back to public hangings, public executions, firing squad. At least we could see them coming. Right. When you're in the store, you know, hey, don't let your kid go in the bathroom because you see the mark on him. Or her, because it's both nowadays. Right, discovering truth. It is. It's disgusting. Everybody should write the Attorney General. If we come in numbers, if a lot of us do it, they can't just turn their heads. They have to do something. That's what gets the ball moving. It's when you don't say nothing and they think it's okay. Like that Balenciaga, as soon as they put out that thing, they thought the public was going to be okay with it. I've never understood that. But they realized, no, we're not going to take it. I thought it was at least 3 little girls that the courts knew of. It could be, I know 2 for sure. Yeah, castrations. Or just lock them up and don't ever let them out. Right, Alicia. Because you vote them in, you can vote them right back out, too. So either they move the way they should, or they don't sit in that seat next term. And then the next one will come in and do the job that they should have done to begin with. Because when corruption's so blatant, slapping in your face, somebody's got to do something. I think most of the people in Tennessee don't even know anything about Summer Wells or Brandon Lawson. No, because they kept it hush hush. I think that was probably going on when they told us that Dawn and Candace wasn't cooperating. I think that was the look over here, but don't look over here at me and my son. So everybody focused on that, and nobody focused on them. One unnamed. I know 2 for sure. I didn't hear about a 3rd one. I didn't either. The media there barely covered Summer. No, they're probably not allowed to. I'm gonna dig in and see who owns the news stations up there. Because even Jeff Bobo kind of touched on it a little, but that's the extent. And I thought he's a good reporter. But if you're not allowed, you're not allowed. If you want to keep your job. You know, it seems like people will throw their morals and values away for $1. Which I raise my kids that's not, you don't do that. When you work for a company, you're doing them a service. They're compensating you for that service. But you don't have to sell your soul to that company, and they don't own you. Yep, they're good at keeping things quiet and not thoroughly investigating all avenues. Well, I just continue to pray that something breaks in this case. Because to look at this beautiful child and not know what happened, that she's still missing, is heartbreaking. What's more heartbreaking is that her parents aren't out here pounding the pavement, pushing law enforcement, getting private investigators, real private investigators who are invested to do something about it. Right, Alicia, because you've seen where they use satellites on the Daybell case, but the cloud coverage, since they said it only took them 17 minutes to bury Tylee, that the cloud coverage was over at the time. So that means they can do it. Somebody's put out satellite images, which I don't know where they came from, but it can be done. I agree with you about public hangings. We have to make examples out of people. So many states are dropping the death penalty, but I don't agree. Soft on crime, politics aren't good in my opinion. I think my dog waits till I get on the computer to start talking to me. Yep, they can use satellite imagery. And Smiley posted what the weather was that day. So I believe they should be able to get good photos. I pray every day, even though I'm not very religious, but I feel like Hannah's Angels is getting close to something because she's suddenly being attacked from all directions for no reason. Oh, yeah. If you could only see a lot of these creators' emails, but if you post them, it gives them power. So we have to keep that power for us, not them. I like to think that some of these busts have been done from the numbers on their phones. Me too. Yeah, Nana, she's invested in Summer too. Just like all of us. We just want this case to be solved. We want answers. And she's just putting our facts and asking people's opinion because she knows we all think different and notice different things. Right. We're all grown. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Like, I believe that the parents know what happened. But that don't mean the next person believes the same way I do. But just like I can't show them proof that they're guilty, nobody can show me proof that they're innocent either. So both sides are speculating to what we've seen and heard. And since we don't have what law enforcement have, that's all we can do. And then for these other channels to say, oh, we're tragedy pimps, they're putting the same Summer Wells in their tags, and they play clips of the things that creators have worked on to put Summer's story out there. And they're collecting tons of money because drama sells. But we're the tragedy pimps. I don't get it. I feel like I've dedicated my life to Summer. I don't have much family besides my son, and when I'm not taking care of him, I'm researching for information and facts. That's what I do too, discovering the truth. It's something that you can't shake. Like every day, you probably do the same thing I do. You Google summer wells to see if there's something new. If something's broken in the case, you watch every channel to see if there's any new information. You go back, you watch videos to see if you missed anything along the way from what you know now to what was going on back then. Brandon Wells' sentence speaks volumes, and supposedly the Lawsons are closely associated with the Bernards. They're all related. They're all related. If not by blood, by marriage. They are all related. Don't think David Dotson isn't related. He's related too. He didn't just move to Hawkins County. He's been there since 2015. The tragedy pumps are the ones defending and covering for the Wells. Yeah. And some of them people were the ones saying, oh, why are y'all on, what are their names? The West over Orrin and Orson. There's no proof. And you see, their own son is the one who told on them. Yeah, we knew. I knew what you meant. The gaggle of gossips. Yep, they're all cousins. Brandon Lawson and the Bernards are related. The Morlocks, the Hills. Oh, the list goes on. TG thinks the boys were taken. There was a court on May 3rd. Do you think so? It wouldn't surprise me. They should be. That's probably why Dawn was so pissed the other night. Going off. Yep, Fred Hill. But yep, the Crawfords too. Everybody down in that holler is related. Knowing and unlawfully attempting to have unlawful as contact that would have caused bodily injury to the victim. Aggravated as battery ×4. 1 year in jail. Yep. It shouldn't just be us in an upgrade. The world should be in an upgrade. I don't feel like I cover for the Wells, but I honestly don't think they did it. Not saying they were innocent or anything, but I don't think they read Rumford. Yeah, and you're entitled to that opinion. There's nothing wrong with everybody feeling the way they feel. We won't know the facts until somebody's arrested. Yeah, and I believe he has a child that also has the same charges as Ronnie's son. Allegedly. Lawson must have stuff on Ellie and other counties too. Well, they're spread out, these families, if you look. Lawson's, Goads, Hills are spread out from Tennessee all the way to the Carolinas, actually. They're in Kentucky, Virginia. I don't see how anyone can take up with these people. They did nothing to get their boys. They have proven kids are just a burden to them. Why hasn't TBI and FBI outed Lawson? Well, money talks sometimes. You know, I knew a defense attorney in Tampa, and he's passed away now, but when I was younger, that was when I was dumb and naive. I say, God, how do you get so many people off? And he says, I'd say to the judge, feel under here. You think he's innocent now? That just gave me a rude awakening in my youth, how things work. The FBI is not on this case. Only TBI. And they are related too. Most everybody who knows me knows my suspects and why. I get hell accusing the tiny human, but he has means, motive, and opportunity. Yeah, there's a couple of them that do, other than the parents. But I just feel the way I do because of the way the parents have been throughout this. So we'll just have to see if and when something happens. But I have hope. There was a petition on change long ago urging FBI to oust Lawson. I shared it on my channel, but nothing came of it. No, when I just Googled, I seen it on Google when you type in Ronnie Lawson. Everybody needs to write letters, send emails, make phone calls. And the voters there in Tennessee need to do something. Yep, I believe that is ignoring the lies and behavior of Candace and Dawn. Well, they don't act like parents of a missing child, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. But nobody should be on the internet fighting or bullying nobody else over their opinion. And I hate when they say, oh, these people are giving money and they don't know what they're doing. I guess they don't realize most people who are watching true crime are 40 and over. I think they know what to do or not do with their money. Oh, I completely agree. The Wells have acted so crazy throughout this whole ordeal, but I think I figured it out. If they act normal, people wouldn't talk, and they're afraid Summer gets forgotten. The FBI has good people still, but they're too busy looking into parents at school board meetings and what they are calling domestic terrorists. The problem is the people in high places throughout Tennessee are all high-level Masons. Kennedy warned y'all about the three-letter agencies. Yes, yes. And I hate to say it, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. And they're not going to go after a Masonic brother. Yep. Act crazy and people talk about you a lot. Keep Summer's name out there. I'm hoping that's their tactic. No way they could actually be that dumb and not get caught. Well, I don't believe, my personal opinion is somebody else is pulling the strings in this case. That's my personal opinion. Because if they wanted to get her name out there, every news agency would have had them on. It's big ratings. So all they had to do is have Tim make the same phone calls that he made to Dr. Phil. They came here, remember? Nobody forced them on YouTube. I only just found out from ELP's channel that Dotson is related to the Bernards and the Morlock. Yeah. I think Michelle Walks had put the whole family tree down on her channel. She traced everybody back to the 1800s, every marriage and everything. Taking 13 days to come on the news for a mother who truly thinks their daughter has been abducted. Yep, I'm with you on that. And in that one press conference, do you see them standing side by side with Summer? And then in the very beginning, Dawn came out and told us that law enforcement accused him of selling Summer. I agree. As Candace and Dawn both say, it's higher ups and the uppers. The Bernards is one of the biggest families there. They would protect them, in my opinion. Well, think about it. The Hills, the Bernards, the Lawsons, the Morlocks, they all have property in there. And that's just to name a few of the families that are tied together. They're the ones bringing in the income because that county's broke. And who's paying the land taxes for all that land? All them families that are tied together. Some of them may look poor, but they're land rich. And they're holding on to that land for a reason. Because I guess you can't show if you're manufacturing narcotics and shipping them all over and destroying other families along the way. National media should blast out Summer's case on the 15th of June. Yeah, they could do even one better, and law enforcement could go round them all up. And then we could be singing like JJ's grandpa, the party's over. They complain about YouTube, but continue to come on YouTube. Makes zero sense. Yeah, I've seen more of Dawn's private areas than I've ever want to see for anybody on YouTube. I mean, you've seen his dingle and everything. He literally showed his ass a few times. Yep, and I believe a YouTuber who's been very active in distracting Summer's case has family land there on the backside of Ben Hill. Yeah. Believe that there's YouTubers who are working to distract in this case, and I pray to God that they all get arrested for interfering in an investigation. But they'll probably just say they were doing it for entertainment purposes only. I don't trust too many. I don't think she means JS or he. I don't know if it's a she or a he, but I don't think it's JSB. I think it's another one. He was pretty big. And Candace was where? At Discovering. Summer was 5 years old. Have to have parents with them at all times. Yeah, and you can't just be with them in body, but not in your mind. You can't be out of your mind on alcohol or drugs. Leslie with TBI said the same thing, intentionally spreading misinformation and soliciting donations. Oh yeah, they know. They know who the people are that are doing that. You see, you're giving the mother Candace an out. Oh, me? Because I said just being there in body. Did you know there's a grand jury? Yes, I do, Amy. No, this YouTuber don't even live in Tennessee, and it's a man, or he thinks he is. Look, does he live in Virginia? Nobody went in that home and took Summer. Well, there's two stories, Alicia. That she went down to the basement and they got her from the basement. And then the other story is that she was in the yard. Maybe even on the road. So what's the story we're supposed to believe? Don said the same thing in last week, that Ellie still think they're involved. His words, not YouTube, not rumor, out of his own mouth. BK does not own land there. No, BK's out of Texas. Dogs are like kids. They wait until you're on the phone or the computer to try to get your attention. Yeah. Mine's an old dog. They changed their story. Yeah, numerous times. Right, because the truth never changes. It doesn't change from one year to the next. I agree, that's why I said I don't believe they're completely innocent, but I wonder if Summer has autism, like I suspect. She could elope, and they have no fears. My son elopes, and it's scary. Well, you would think if she walked off, they would have found something of hers. They would have seen buzzards, something. Innocent parents of missing children don't stop talking to police 3 weeks in. How about they don't hide in their kitchen on Facebook Live with their friend and not go out and talk to the cops? They want their child found, right? Oh, he does, Lisa? I thought he had folks in Montana, not Kingsport. In my opinion, both stories stink, and the very fact that there are two stories is bad. Yeah, that's a red flag. BK don't, but his stepdad's family possibly does. I don't know if you know his stepdad's last name, but it's very uncommon. Yeah, I think Enchanted Life Path did videos about that side of his family. Well, BK admitted to that he was paid. He was paid to make certain YouTubers stop reporting on the case or stop whatever it was they didn't want them doing. I would just laugh. like I said, if you've seen some of the emails I get, the stories, they think you're that gullible to run with. When you first start out, you want to believe everybody's the same as you, but you learn quickly in Summer's case of all the crap people try to feed you. So you have to make sure that you check it out. Yep, it seems like all these people too that are connected have all lived in the same state at the same time over the past decade. And then they married into Beach Creek. Plus, Mom also said she hoped Summer was never found, and he agreed. Made me sick. Wow, I pray to God every day that it's going to be the day. That's Goat family land. Just like with Orrin and Orson, it just happened out of nowhere. First you hear that they were arrested in Trezelle, and then it took like another hour before you found out that they arrested both Trezelle and Jacqueline. I don't believe rumors. I fact check everything twice. I fact check myself, lol. Spell check tape and always picking on me. Yeah, what I try to do is just put their words, what they say. It's the things that they say and have done along the way. But then even doing that, you know that some of it is bull. There's many people trying to throw people off. I think the biggest one is Tim. I know, and last night when Candace was on Daisy's, I think, White Boy asked her about the hearts across the globe or whatever, and she didn't know nothing about it. And then he's like, oh, well, I thought that I seen that on the family official site. And she said, oh, well, if Tim put it out, then it's, Dawn knows about it. Wouldn't you know about everything going on in the search for your child as a mother? For a year, I've not been able to get Tim off my mind since we watched the Mystery Angel vid. It's very sus. Yeah, something's weird with him. And there are people who think he don't have nothing to do with it either, that he's just weird. To me, I feel like he's going, ha ha ha, because he seems like that type of person. The same kind of people who do it in plain sight. That have the balls to put children's pictures on Snapchat and Facebook and think that they're going to continue doing that. Nothing's going to happen. But I guess old Sherfy Jr. found out they'll bust you doing that. Out of all the distractions, I believe JS has been the worst, in my opinion. I believe she's protecting, in her mind, he's safe now. Who's safe? Getting shot at. Yep. Well, why would she say, worried that it was going to influence the jury what Andy and Becca were doing. It was going to influence the jury against him. And in the beginning, if you go back and you watch some of the videos that Jody did with Penny, it was like she was preparing to go to jail or prison, and she wanted to make sure her kids were okay. And who does that? You know, the day they announced the arrest for Jacqueline and Giselle was the date of the second big search for Summer. I see signs and things like that. Yep. Well, I say nothing's a coincidence. Because they were all in drug running ring. Oh yeah, and this case has had to have hurt every illegal business in Hawkins County, or at least in Beach Creek, Rogersville. You know, everybody's pissed that was doing illegal shit. But, you know, Ronnie Lawson says there's no drug problem in Beach Creek. You don't know where anybody would get that from. Interesting. 3 women planting flowers at the same time on the same day a child disappears, and not one of them sees anything but flowers. Yeah, right. Yeah, and them cactuses sure the hell weren't flowers. Would not protect Candace, in my opinion. Only her tiny humans. Well, there's one thing about her, though, that makes you second guess what she's doing on here, is that she still has her children. Neither one of them got took from her, but do you think that's because of their age, how old they are? I believe that, Alicia P., that this script was all made together. And they're all working together. And even hired a crisis actor group. And I don't see why law enforcement couldn't go in there and make them talk. But I guess if they're related too, it won't work. Or if they have a dog in the fight, they're not going to talk. You think Fred Hills too, Alicia? Because to me, he seems sincere. That's my opinion. But others think he's in on it too. Oh yeah, when Grand Bun said those kids came here in the summer before Summer died. Why would you say that unless you have knowledge that Summer is deceased? Would you say that? She didn't say before Summer went missing. Before Summer vanished. It was before Summer died. Well, they're all broke. They all aren't making money like they were used to making. I don't think he was told anything that can break the case. He keeps that in. She's protecting the ring because it's her son's namesake. Everything will probably go to him, being the male heir, carrying on the family name. Andy has other siblings, too. So you have to remember that. And I believe they have other grandchildren, too. I firmly believe that. Wouldn't surprise me if it was the Wild County Sheriff included, in my opinion. That's why they did not want to focus on this case. Because it has destroyed their income. Yeah, and they were even employing relatives who were stealing from them. And then she leaves the rescue squad where she stole all them funds and still working for another county entity. It is like the Sons of Anarchy. It's the craziest. I thought the Lori Vallow Daybell case was the craziest case. And then here we are. That sheriff department is paid to let the drugs be ran. They don't have boys, do they? I don't remember any other grandsons. I've got brain fog, been so sick. I don't know, but the one who would know is, like I said, Michelle Walks did a whole family tree on all of them there. I agree. I don't personally put much on JSB because of her keeping her minor child. And the other day I watched her and she showed texts from Candace about failing the polygraphs. But we have to remember in the beginning, when the first weeks that Summer went missing, well, I should say the first weeks we knew who the neighbor was and she came out, she did start by saying she didn't know them that well. Her kids didn't go over there. But then she became the queen of Ben Hill. She knew everything about everything. I think this case, Lord Vallow and Kylie Rodney cases are crazy. Yeah, Kylie Rodney's is crazy too. Doug mentioned JSB and Andy know H's family much more than anyone has said. Allie's family, that is in Kingsport. I believe that too, because if you notice, Andy won't talk about Jody Sue. They were getting paid loads by the drug ring. Absolutely. Tim Mullen didn't hook the Wells up with Dr. Phil because he cares about Summer. He did it for meteor manager clout, right? And then he tried to get in with Brandy Neal on Michael Vaughn's case. I traced their family tree. Also found out that Ronnie O is related to the Trents. Yep, that's a fact. Of course, an honest, good sheriff wouldn't have a county so rampant with drugs and dark secrets if he was doing his job, in my opinion. Nope, that's why I love my sheriff. Grady Judd is the man. And I don't know what we're going to do when he leaves this earth, because I think God broke the mold when they made him. The Carly Trent case was another big money scam. Well, it would have been nice if this was a money scam and they said, oh, we found her after a few weeks. Look, we just went up on this mountain and knew right where to go and we found her. I'm not saying I'm correct, just a couple observations. It seemed like her and Andy weren't planning on splitting up. And yes, I do take those other things into account. Well, Andy said he was staying with her because she had cancer. And Jody said he was messing with that girl already. Yeah, well, thank God she was related. But I think they set the uncle up. I think that was a land grab. That's my opinion on that case. I believe Carly Trent Grace was a setup on old Gary for money magically found on Donnie Lawson's property. Gary's van reported on the other side of town. Yeah, I think they wanted his land. See, he was land rich too. So what happened to his property? That was the biggest scam. Carly's parents were all spun out on dope, too. They did. Grady Judge to be a sheriff teacher. He's the best. I know. I wish he would run for president. But he won't. I want to know the real reason JSB was run off from Ben Hill. Yeah, Woodfair, I don't think we'll ever know that reason because I don't think Polly and George will tell us why they got her the hell gone. Because you would think if she knew something about them, if they were involved, that they wouldn't have thrown her off the land. But then again, if they're all involved, you can't tell on one without telling on yourself. Or if they're all covering for the same person. I'm sure he does. Because I can tell you, if Brady's son would have did what Ronnie's son done, the world would have known it. He would have made sure he was the one telling that story. You're going to have to check and see what happened to Gary's property now. Yeah, let us know. I haven't looked into that either. But I'm sure it was a money grab. Because don't y'all find it suspicious that Clyde Trent had the deed to Dawn Wells' mama's property? And she's the one who ended up signing it over to Dawn? Brady would have had this case solved the first week. Well, yeah, you remember the 3 boys who went fishing. All the agencies, state agencies, federal agencies got together and they solved that case within days. They even made the labs go through and brought them that night. They opened the labs just for that case. Even after they threw her off the land, she made sure Damien still had access to the property for hunting, hence the hunting blind. The goats want the land back. Well, and the Sherpies want the land too. They thought because, well, Sherpie's girlfriend, I forgot what their last name is, but because she was taking care of Dawn's mom, they thought for sure that that property was going to be theirs. And I wouldn't doubt, you know, when people are sick and old, they promise things. And sometimes they don't even know what they're talking to. And if you're a shyster and you're there for all the wrong reasons, then they're probably going to tell you what you want to hear because you're there wiping their behinds and helping them when they can't do it for themselves. I thought the Curly case was a way to cover up secrets, blame it on someone else, and then Dawn's call about someone on property touching kids sent alarm bells off for me. I love Grady. He's awesome, funny at making a fool of them. Oh, yeah, and then there's a lot of lawyers who don't like it that he does that either. But, you know, we only have one unsolved red rum in our county, and he said if somebody would talk, he would solve that case, too. Good morning, Kimberly. I'm not totally taking up for Jody, but the only one I am 100% sold on is Dawn, Candace, and Tim. And me, I go back to what we know is the last people to be that we know of is Candace and Grandis and H. Everybody wants the land. You would think there's a gold mine there or something. But, you know, I started looking into that because there's some kind of pink quartz or something like that that is really valuable that they say is in Hawkins County, which I found very funny. But there's also, I think, Indian burial grounds there too. Yes, it is, but that's happening everywhere, Alicia. I bought 8 acres 2 years ago, and it's almost tripled in price. And it doesn't even, it has a septic and 2 wells on it, and I haven't done nothing with it. Because I was going to put I was wanting to do an animal rescue, but then COVID came. Well, yeah, because there ain't making no more land, that's for sure. That's not land you can farm, though. Yeah, but they might can mine it or do something else. Rose quartz. That's what it is. But since they're all related, I wonder how many are preppers. Because, back in the old days, people hid gold. They put gold in the ground so they could go back and get it. Her son really named after from West Memphis. Yep. That's what she said. Yeah, it's rose quartz. I believe that's exactly what it is. And it's only, whatever this kind is, it's only in Hawkins County, is what it said when I read about it. No, whatever kind this is, it's not everywhere. It's only in Hawkins County, so it might not be rose quartz. But I thought that was interesting. I forgot Grandis, she's on my list too, maybe H, but I feel like he may have been used. Of course, I can't be sure. Yeah, Alicia, just Google what minerals are in Hawkins County, and there's a bunch of stuff about it. I just read it a few days ago, and I was like, oh, but I still go back to thinking that since Don's mom was a prepper, how many other of them were preppers? I know Don will probably dig his whole damn yard up, that whole 11 acres, to see if, but I wouldn't doubt if his mom didn't put gold there. I've been studying satellite images, topographic and geological surveys of 110. There is something to that hill. I'm determined to discover what it is. Too many anomalies, in my opinion. There might be a rose. Heat quartz is very rare and caused by being superheated super quickly. Remember, Tim mentioned the volcanoes. Yes, and with volcanoes, isn't there diamonds? Isn't there other things like that it creates? And no wonder they didn't want new people buying land there. Smudges and prayers always for summer and the boys. Keep up the good fight. I know there's ley lines that run right across the property on Ben Hill. I talked Banana into doing a video. Then Killer Looks did a video on it. Yeah. And Enchanted Life Path did one way in the beginning when Summer first went missing. Yeah, what else is under them hollers? They ran moonshine through them. I used to buy rose quartz all the time. I love it. Yes, diamonds are created by volcanoes. Karen Candace said she has buckets of seeds under the ground. I think something is there too. Yeah, and since they're all related, Karen didn't start prepping all by herself. Her religious beliefs and her husband is probably what made her start prepping. And how long was she prepping? And how long were family members prepping prior to that? There's absolutely a whole bunker under that land. Oh, I believe that. You can believe that. I can forget JSB talking of floorboards creaking in the middle of the night that she would hear being raised up. I mean, why even insert that nonsense? Or is it? Well, remember what, Fairy, they have to keep some of the truth, even if they're telling the story. I'm not saying she's telling the story, but I'm saying you have to keep some of the truth because the truth is easy to remember. A lie is not. Right, the cops don't know where the entrance is. Exactly. Even went over the sinkhole theory, considering sinkholes run it with the old mines, limestones. I'm guessing with limestone branch, there's a lot of limestone. Yeah, but I'm telling you, if y'all Google it, you'll see there's some rare, I don't know if they use it for countertops or flooring, but it's very expensive and it's only found in Hawkins County. So, in them mountains, I have to say this, Don himself said his door was kicked in 11 times by TBI. No one else's door speaks volume to me. But Andy and Jody Sue were questioned numerous times. It may be granite, but it's a pink. I know it's the color is pink of what it is. But is it that they're wanting to keep? Because you don't see any of them mining on none of them. Mass countertops and nice flooring is granite. I'll check. Be right back. All right, Amy, yeah, just Google it and let us know exactly. We were talking about the oldest land left basically in the country, and the same families have had ownership over those haulers for centuries, passing it all down to the next line. Tennessee marble? Amy went to Google it. No one has been cleared enough for me to say they're all still suspect. The whole place needs to be tore up from the floor up, in my humble opinion. Yes. And their heirs better get off the dope because they won't be able to pay the land taxes, and then it'll be a land grab for sure. There is absolutely a whole living area under that land. And there may be more than one, Alicia. There's probably multiple through that holler. Because you have generation after generation. And if they were just gatherers preparing for the end of the world, then God only knows how many or how much things can be underneath there. That's probably why they have poured the drugs up into those hollers. I'm all about some gems and stone. I've gathered lots over the years. Love my stones. Because the elites want that land. Yeah, and they'll do anything to get it. Anything. But some reason, because there's been properties all around Ben Hill for sale through the years, but they all seem to want Don's piece, that 11 acres. So there's something with that specific 11 acres. And you'd think they'd get off the internet e-begging and maybe do some research to what could be the reason that everybody wants that land. I will go down the rabbit hole. Google says Hawkins has 8 mines. With Candace making a statement about buckets of stuff under the ground, I thought Ellie could get a search warrant and dig up the land. Well, Cam from Cracking Cases said they had what do y'all call them? Because we don't even have basements here. A cellar under that shed up front, I believe is what he said, that had seeds, big containers of seeds in there. But if you got seeds and you got canned goods and you got all that, I'd be pulling that out and seeing if there's gold, silver. God only knows what's there. Hello, my cock. It's just a thought, but preppers usually, them are some of the main things they store, and then guns, ammunition, even drugs, because it's something that can be traded at the end of the world. They're scared to just drive up into the holler and bust people because they'd never get out. Hollers are a smart layout that way. Families are all interrelated, and they all have each other's back. Yep. Like the Hatfield and the McCoys, they can fight each other, but nobody else came up in there. I've had 2 theories with the same person. Since Andy is a Freemason, maybe it was time for Damien to join and it was some kind of initiation. The other is a lonely, hormonal teenager. And it's all a possibility because of the statements Jody made. But when Dawn said it's bigger than we think, I think we're going to find out there's multiple people involved. With no females around but Mom, Sis, Candace, and Summer. Yeah, because weren't her children homeschooled? I think there's probably going to be a wealthy person that nobody would expect. A preacher, teacher, maybe politician. And if there's a politician, we may never get answers until somebody gets arrested for something else, and then that's when people start talking. And they'd probably have to be arrested outside of Hawkins County because they'd probably be too afraid to talk there. I guess Amy hasn't found it. Let me Google it it might just come up since I've looked at it before. Well, it says there are plenty of gemstones that you can find in Tennessee: onyx, opals, pearls, jaspers, various types of agates, calcite, diamonds, pyrite, amber. But there is a certain one. I'll look it up tomorrow and then I'll put it in my community post. So, yep, homeschool with no interactions with other kids their age. I'm sure the hormones are confusing and was lonely for what he thought was affection. He seemed to be running from that land and home. So I've been looking about the mineral gemstones. The list is very long and it's so many popular ones. Yeah, I know. I just went to look, but I'll find it. I'll go on my laptop because that's where I pulled it under a different account. And then I'll put it on my community tab tomorrow. Or later today, I should say. It's 5 a.m. here. So I'm gonna get off here and make me some coffee. All we can do, people, is keep praying for summer and send the Attorney General letters if you don't like what's going on in Hawkins County. It can't hurt. Mail it, email, phone call. Enough people do it. They have to take notice. And if it doesn't do nothing else, it may save another child from disappearing. And I haven't got to watch the Enchanted Life Pass, but he was showing where years ago there was another girl who had twins, and one of the children became missing. Yep, they all bring money, Amy. There's a reason they all want Dawn's land. But does it hold other unalive victims too? There's a lot of missing in the surrounding areas. It's almost 5 a.m. here, 4:51 to be exact. My son finally went to sleep. Thank God now I can rest, hoping and praying I feel better tomorrow. I hope you do too, discovering truth. Get off here and get some rest. And thanks you guys for coming and giving me your opinions. I like when we can all brainstorm. We all don't have to agree, but it's good to discuss it. But I'm going to be still digging in further to see about Dawn's land. But if it's not that mineral, there's something there. Or they're hiding something there that they don't want somebody else to discover. You too. Well, thank you, Alicia. I love that we all can do this without trolls coming in. That's why I try to do it early in the morning, because you seem late at night. That's when you get bombed and trolled, and when you do it early, all the trolls are sleeping. We'll pray for you. Until next time, you guys. Have a good Saturday. And all the mothers, have a happy Mother's Day Sunday if I don't come back on.